Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here virtually. Hopefully we can move back to in-person soon, but for now we have an awesome class with Dusty Rhodes. It's intro to streaming videos on your TV. And then we also have one right after this. If you want to stick around shortly after, there will be another one about passwords. So thank you everyone for being here. Towards the end, I am going to open up a poll. If you could just stick around a few minutes after Mr. Rhodes is done, if you don't mind taking a poll on the class for me, I will open it up towards the end. At the bottom, there is a few options that you should have access to. It's Q&A, chat, and raise hand. And we'll use the raise the hand whenever you have a question that you want to go ahead and ask Mr. Rhodes. That way you are able to hop on and talk and use your audio and your video. But I believe he's going to open it up towards the end for Q&A. But if you have any questions throughout the presentation, hit the raise hand button and he'll go ahead and allow you to speak. I am going to turn it over to Mr. Rhodes now.
Give me a second here because she's got to switch me to the host. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm switched
Right.
now.
And I'm going to mute.
Okay, you're already muted. Yes. Okay, hi everyone. For those of you who don't know, I'm Dusty Rhodes. I do a number of these classes. Have a IT background, worked in consulting for about a couple different companies, ended my career at IBM and then started my own little consulting company. So have been totally retired now for about 6 months or so, and a little over 6 months. So happy to have everybody here. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, hopefully everyone can see the presentation. We're going to go through a number of things here today, and let me see. I'm trying to look like I can screen share and see participants. Maybe I can. Hold on. Oh, looks like I can. Okay. Took me a minute to figure this out. Okay. So we're going to talk about video streaming today. Something you probably have, if you're not already doing, you probably have heard about. Quite a few people are already using it. We're going to go into some detail about it, and let me just move on to the what we're going to do. So as Jordan said, if you have a question, there's a little small hand at the bottom of your screen. Click on that. It should show up on my screen that you've raised your hand. I can then unmute you and you can ask your question. We've got everybody on mute at the beginning here. You can also raise your hand if there's some kind of a term that you don't understand. Obviously, I've tried as much as possible to be as clear as I can about some of the terms or the acronyms that we use in the IT space. But if you do have don't understand one, raise your hand, ask the question, and let me know. If I'm going a little too fast, or if you missed something, you need me to back up, again, raise your hand, and I'll call him. The primary one here is, I don't think there is any such thing as a dumb question. There shouldn't be. So don't be afraid to ask. I'm sure if you've got the question, then there are multiple people that have the same question that are also, for whatever reason, fearful to ask it. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Please raise your hand and do. I will repeat this at the end of the presentation, but I have set up a special email address, dustypsgrc@gmail.com. If you would like a copy of this presentation, you are welcome to send me an email, or even if you just have a question you thought of after we finish, and you want to ask a question, you're welcome to send it to that email. But if you'd like a copy of the presentation, send me a note to that email address, and I will send you back a copy. Okay, moving on. So what are we going to do today? we're going to talk about video streaming and specifically what it is and how it's different than what most people refer to as TV. We'll go through a little history of how we got to streaming. We're going to talk about the devices you can use to stream to. We'll talk about the different video streaming services. There are many of them. It used to be, let's see, the last time I did this class was maybe about a year ago, and I think the number of streaming services has gone up by about 5 times since then. So it's made keeping this presentation up to date pretty challenging. We'll talk a bit about the costs and some of the advantages and disadvantages. We'll go through some options if you're interested in pursuing streaming, and then we'll do a few demonstrations online here of the different streaming services. And then finally, we'll open it up for any final questions. Hopefully that meets everybody's expectations. So let's just start out with a couple of questions I want to try to ask. Now, get ready to raise your little hand there. I'd like to hear how many people out there, how many of you are currently using streaming? You currently do some form of streaming. If you could click the little raise your hand button at the bottom, I'd appreciate it. Give it a few seconds here. Okay, I see 4 hands raised. Well, to be honest with you, you're all using streaming right now. You'll explain this a little further because our current contract with Xfinity is actually a streaming service. You probably don't know that, but that's the way it is. It's not your typical TV, and you would know that based on some of the things that I'll show you in a few minutes, but you don't really realize it, but you're actually already using streaming today, and we'll get into that in more detail. One more question. Again, need you to raise your hand if this is the case. I'd like to know how many of you are interested in using streaming as a way to be able to quote unquote cut the cable, so you're not having to pay for cable service at a second home. So if you have a second home and you want to be able to cut down on your costs and not have to pay for a cable service, please raise your hand on that one. Quite a few. Okay, looks like we got about 6 or 7 hands raised on that one. So I'm going to cover both topics. I'm going to talk about streaming in general, and then throughout, and I've kind of flagged the little the slides with a little icon of those that really apply to those of you who want to quote unquote cut the cable. I also, at the end, I think it's the last slide or the last couple of slides, it's really exclusively for the people interested in this. So I'll make a note of it as we get there. If you are specifically interested in cutting the cable, you'll want to pay special attention to the last couple of slides. Mimi, it looks like maybe you have a question, or maybe you just didn't lower the hand. Let me, if you do have a question, leave your hand raised. If not, could you click the little button and take it off? Okay, looks like, whoop, no, back on. Okay, all right, Mimi, I'm gonna open it up. You should be able to ask your question now. You there, Mimi?
I did try lowering it, so I don't have a question.
Okay, got it.
Sorry.
No problem, no problem. I can lower it for you. Ben, looks like you might have a question too. You'll have to unmute yourself, or hang on, yeah.
No, I lowered it also, so I don't know.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I'll take care of it. Got it. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so how did we get here? How did we get to this point of this quote unquote streaming? I'm sure all of you will remember this. We're all old enough to know. This really all started back in the days of videotapes. The infamous battle between VHS and Beta. I'm sure we all remember that. That's kind of where a lot of this got started back in the 70s and 80s when video cameras became popular and people started recording videos. And so, all right, I gotta guess maybe the hands are not working correctly here. I'm not sure. Frank, it looks like you may have a question. I just unmuted you if you have a question. No? Okay. I'm going to lower hands again. I don't know, that hand raising is not working right. I don't think I'm saying to lower the hands, but it's not, doesn't seem to be doing it, Jordan. Anyway, okay, no worries. The after that, if you remember, we started with recorded videos. So good old Blockbuster, that was the big beast in that space in the 80s and 90s. Everybody used to go to the rental store and rent a video. So you were in some way back then, you were streaming because you were taking a video that somebody else recorded and you were playing it at home. So in a kind of a sense, you were streaming then. Beyond that, at the same time in the 80s and 90s, we also had the advent of PCs, right? They came up in the early 80s to the mid 80s. Everybody started getting PCs at home. And then in the 2000s, all those videos that were on VHS tape, which were not digital, they were what's called analog, were converted and became DVDs, which were digital video discs. So now all that video content became digital, which means it was a bunch of zeros and ones. And you could play those on your PC. Also at the same time in the 2000s came about the internet, that famous thing that allowed all these computers to talk to each other. So really by combining what happened in the digital recording space, in other words, digital videos, and the internet, and the advent of the internet is what really allowed the advent of streaming. So now I could play these digital audio, digital video, and send it across the internet from some provider to a customer. So that's kind of how everything got to the point where we were able to, view videos on the internet, not on a TV. Actually, it could be on a TV screen, but it's not your typical over-the-air, have an antenna or through the cable kind of TV. So the final step in it really was when everybody started getting smart TVs, smartphones, all these devices that could interpret these digital signals that were coming through the internet and play them back for you on your phone or on your tablet or on your PC or on your TV. So it all started back in the 70s, and now we're to the point where it's happening and you don't even know it, as I described in the first question we had. Okay, next. So technically, what is streaming? And this is a little bit complicated. I'll make it as simple as I possibly can. Technically, it is the transfer of media, and media could be video, it could be audio, it could be both, over the net, over the internet, and 3 criteria. It's in real time. In other words, it's not that somebody sends us a file and then we play that file on our PC. You're viewing it at the same time as whoever is sending it is sending that video. So you're doing it in real time. It is what's called peer-to-peer. So in other words, one-to-one. Some service is sending it to me individually, and it's bi-directional, meaning that not only can I receive that video or audio, I can feed back to them what I want to do with it. So for example, if I'm playing a video on my smart TV or on my phone, I can pause it, I can rewind it, I can go forward. Even though it's coming to me in real time, I can tell the service that I want to change something. I want to make it, I want to go back 10 seconds, or I want to skip ahead because I've already seen it. So that's the bi-directional communication. It's sending me the video or audio, I'm sending them back instructions on how I want it to be played. So that's the definition, the technical definition of streaming. What's going on in the background, and I know this is very technical, just stick with me here for a few minutes, and I think it'll become clear, because it's the next slide I want to get to, but you need to understand this. So when I ask for a video to be played on whether it's on my PC or on my phone or on my smart TV, what's happening in the background is that original movie and the original sound on the left side. The first thing that has to happen is it has to go through something called encoding. Encoding is really compressing it. So original footage of a video are very, very large files. And so you can't really push all that through what I'll refer to as a pipe, the internet pipe, however big that might be, because it's just too large. So they go through what's called encoding. That encoding is specific to that whoever's supplying you that media. So they go through and use what's called a codec, a video codec, to compress that and make it much smaller so it can go through the internet pipe and make it to you in a reasonable amount of time. The video is compressed and the audio is compressed. So then that video file, when I show in the middle there, goes through the internet and gets to your device, gets to your phone or gets to your PC. And you have to have on your device the reverse. It has to decode it. So it has to put it back to the way it was originally when they sent it. And so you have to have that video codec, the code that allows it to decompress it and make it back into the movie or to the sound or the combination of both, so it can play back on your device. Okay, that's called encoding and decoding. The reason I want to really bring all that up is this, unfortunately, you read this little thing from right to left, not left to right. So as that's coming in to your device, to your computer, or to your TV, or to your phone from the internet, it comes in little packets, little segments of data, and it goes into the decoding and into a buffer. So a small number of those packets are actually stored on your computer or your TV or your phone, and then they are played on your monitor for your computer or on your phone or on your TV, one packet at a time. And this is happening very quickly. You don't know, but if what's coming in from the internet is slower than what it's using to display it to you, what can happen is you'll shrink the buffer. So those packets will shrink down and eventually there won't be any there. So when you see on a streaming, when you're streaming a video, sometimes, once in a while, you'll see sometimes it's 3 dots going across the screen, sometimes it's a little circle spinning. And what that's doing is it's called buffering. So the buffering is refilling this buffer. You've extended it all, so it can't display you anything because it's run out of packets to display to you. It has to rebuild that stack. And so you'll see once in a while, for a lot of different reasons, not necessarily slow internet, but when you see buffering, that little spinning circle or hourglass or 3 dots going across, everybody's a little bit different. It's refilling this buffer so that it can continue to play you that video. I'm going to stop there just a second. That's kind of the technical background here of how not streaming. Before I go on, I just want to check. I don't see any hands up, but anybody have a question about that? I know it's complicated. Try to make it as clear as I can. If anybody's got a question, okay, Ben, I see you got one. Go ahead, Ben.
Sometimes when we see, oh, you have to shut yours. Sorry.
Getting a lot of echo.
Sometimes we see the screen pixelating. Is that due to the buffering?
Not usually. Pixelating usually means some of those packets, when they got transmitted, got messed up a little bit, and so your TV or your phone or whatever can't really figure out how it's supposed to be. But usually that clears very quickly and comes right back. Okay, Ben? All right. Any other questions here? Okay, moving on. So what do you need to be able to stream? You really need 3 things. You need a service provider. We're gonna talk about each of these topics separately, but you're gonna need a service provider, somebody to supply you with that video stream or the audio stream or the combination of both. You need a streaming device, basically a computer, and whether it's your phone or your tablet or your TV, they're all computers. They all have computing devices inside them, but you need a device to be able to stream it. You got to be able to decode all the encoded streams coming in, and you need what most people refer to as high-speed internet. Now, I think there's a lot of, I want to just talk about this. So there's some misconceptions, I think, about what high speed means, and a lot of talk about how fast your internet is, et cetera. So the typical high definition movie takes, it's at least 5, maybe up to 10 megabits per second. That's what Mbps means. And it's just it's a measure of how fast the data goes across that pipe I was talking about, the internet pipe. So if you think about 5 or 10 megabits per stream, our speed here in Pelican Sound from Xfinity is typically, and it does vary somewhere between 200 and 300 megabits per second, Mbps. So theoretically, you could stream a lot of movies on the internet that we have here in Pelican Sound from Xfinity. So if anytime you may think you're not fast enough, it's unlikely, unless there's some other issue, unless it's exceptionally slow for some reason, you should be able to stream a lot of different videos, even at the same time, across the internet that we get provided by Xfinity here in Pelican Sound. Now, you got to remember, some of these devices are on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi can be a little slower depending on how far away you are from your router, so you got to be a little careful with that. But typically what we get provided here by Xfinity is more than enough to supply all the streams you'd ever want to watch. Ben, it looks like you may have another question. Go ahead. Well, maybe not. These hands doesn't look like they're working right. Okay, thank you, Ben. I see you.
Sorry, I thought I was lowering my hand and I raised it, sorry.
Okay, got it. No problem. Okay, so that's all you really need are those three things. And we're not gonna talk anymore about the high-speed internet connection. We've got plenty here. The other time it might make a difference if you're on like a portable device, your phone or your tablet, and it's on the cellular network. Sometimes the speeds there, depending on your connection speed, your connection can be slow. So you may get some buffering there if you're out and about on your phone trying to watch a movie and it's using the cellular capabilities to deliver the internet, not Wi-Fi. But typically you should not have any problems at all. Okay, moving on. So who are the major streaming service providers? This list, if I were to really put it together, probably would have 50 or 60 different services on it. But I'm just going to cover the major ones, the ones that we have and get, and along with any that you might be wanting to get on your own and you would have to pay for. So the biggest one you have right now, as I mentioned, is Xfinity. It's a streaming service. Even the TV that you watch, if you were to pull up the guide, that's actually streaming, because you can, during that show, if you think about it, I can hit rewind or I can hit fast forward, and I'm sending that signal back to Xfinity and telling them back that video up, 10 seconds. I want to watch that again. So that by definition is streaming. So all that you get here in Pelican Sound is actually streamed to your device. That's one of the things about the X1 system that they have here. So it's all here. In addition, on Xfinity, you can also, if you were to go to the apps, push the Xfinity button, go to apps, you can also stream from third parties, and we'll talk about that a little later on. But as part of our contract, we get HBO Max, that's a streaming service. We get Peacock Premium, that's a streaming service. I'm sure everyone probably has watched a YouTube video now and then. That's free to you. So there's a whole, and you could go on and on. There's a lot of them. Vimeo's another service that you can subscribe to that provides videos as well. They're all for free. Paid ones, and I'm sure probably some of you, or if not most of you, have already signed up for some of these, but Netflix is a streaming service, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, YouTube has a premium service that doesn't have ads. And then again, for those of you who are interested in quote unquote cutting the cable, there are actually live TV services that you can subscribe to that are streaming other than X1. There's a few of them listed here: YouTube TV, DirecTV Now, Apple TV. They all can provide, well, the YouTube TV and DirecTV can provide even live TV. So you can watch NBC, CBS, ABC, all the channels, HGTV, whatever you watch, you can watch them live on another streaming service. Some other ones, newer ones, Apple TV came out a couple of years ago. Disney Plus is the new one. So I could keep adding to this, but they're all paid paid streaming services. Okay, let's move on. Now let's talk about each one a little bit. Hang on, I gotta move this out of the way. So they all have all these streaming services if you want to get them. I'm not going to talk about the ones that are free to you. You're obviously willing to look at those, but most of these, if you want them separately, are Netflix, really is all about movies. Both Amazon Prime and Netflix is primarily about movies. They do have their own content. Netflix and Amazon Prime do develop their own content, as does Disney, for that matter. They have series, they have TV series that they replay, but they're primarily designed for what I'll refer to as movie lovers. And you can see the prices here. It can vary. You'll see the notes at the bottom. So for example, in the first one on Netflix, you can, all the ones with an 8 at the bottom, I mentioned that you can use Xfinity apps. So if you push the Xfinity button on your remote and scroll to apps, you can get any of these really on there. The one exception is going to be Apple TV at the bottom. Do not yet have that available to stream on your Xfinity box, but it's supposedly coming around the middle of this year. They're going to add Apple TV to that as well. So then all the major streaming services will be available directly to you here in Pelican Sound, right on your box, right on your Xfinity box. You don't have to, flip over to your smart TV, or you don't have to do anything else. Just by going to the apps button, you could stream any of these services. Now, some of them you would have had to pay for. Oh, I just noticed something I forgot to change. I apologize. So HBO, it used to be called HBO Go. You can see in the 5th column across over here. It's now called HBO Max. They changed the name of it last year, and I forgot to update this slide. I apologize for that. But it's now called HBO Max. But all of these are available. So I put the price of Peacock and HBO on here. They are included with Xfinity, but if you're going to stream them somewhere else, like if you wanted to stream them to your TV in a second home, you would have to buy a subscription to those if you wanted them. But it gives you an idea of what each of these costs, gives you an idea of what they're really designed for. Disney Plus, just by the name of it, you can probably tell if you are really into Disney created movies, and that's really what their content is about. Peacock's a little different. Peacock is NBC, probably can tell, right? NBC and the Peacock. They offer a free service, but it has ads. You'll see that down at number 5. That's the note number 5. If you want it ad-free, you've got to pay for the upgrade. Now, we in Pelican Sound have that included in our contract, so you get the premium without ads. I say it's without ads. Let me qualify that a little bit. Basically, what they typically do for a movie is they'll show you about a minute worth of ads at the very front, and then they don't show you any ads during the entire movie on the premium version. So they have some limitations. That's the concurrent stream. So how many streams can you have? How many people can be watching different shows at the same time? That's what that next row is for. And then another option on all these services is to be able to download them. So let's say that you are going on a trip and you want to watch a couple of movies from Amazon Prime. You'll see that says yes here. Amazon Prime allows you to download movies to your device, to your phone or to your tablet, and then watch them even though you're not connected to the internet. So it preloads them onto your device, and then you can play them back while you're on your flight or on your bus or whatever it might be. So that's what the download. And L means limited. That's what the L stands for here. Netflix does limit you on both how many things you can download at one time, as well as there are some things it does not allow you to download. Same with Peacock. And Hulu, this is optional. They charge you more if you want to be able to download onto your devices. So it's really up to you. I guess the bottom line here is you have to kind of choose what you're interested in, what shows you want to be able to watch, what do you want to be able to download, et cetera, et cetera. So by going through that, you can kind of choose which of these services you may want to subscribe to, right? I mean, an easy example here is Apple TV. If anybody has heard of Ted Lasso, only available on Apple TV. If that's a show that you really want to watch, then you'd have to subscribe to Apple TV. All right, let me pause there a second here and see if there's any questions on this information. Okay, got one from Marilyn. Go ahead, Marilyn.
This is actually Ron.
Okay.
I signed in with my wife.
No problem.
The concurrent streams, that's at your home or where you're getting your internet?
No, it's based on your account. So with each of these, you set up an account. Probably the easiest one for everyone to understand is Amazon, right? Not everybody, I'd say 90% of the people on here probably already pay for Amazon Prime. So you already have an Amazon Prime account. That account allows you to watch up to 3 things at the same time. So it could be, I'll use my own example. So it could be me watching one here at home on my Xfinity device, and my wife watching one on her phone, out on the road somewhere. That would be 2 streams. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the same location if it's just based on that account.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ben.
Again, if this is too specific, we can handle it offline. Okay, my granddaughter is in one of the Apple TV movies, so of course we had to get a subscription.
That's cool.
But so right now, as I understand it, since we don't have any Apple TVs or anything, what we do is I have it, I look on it on my computer, and then I have a Chromecast to the TV.
Yep.
There's no way without turning on the computer, there's no way we can use our Apple TV Plus subscription. Is that right?
Not today, right? Today, well, I mean, you can. It's all device specific, Ben. So, as an example, not here, but up north, I have one of the newer Samsung TVs. It has Apple TV built in. So, as long as I have an Apple TV account, I can play Apple TV videos on that TV, right? Because it has the Apple TV device. Think about it as a little device. And then I'll really go back to my technical description. It has the right decoding capabilities to be able to decode Apple TV's videos, right? So it really depends on the device.
So next time we buy a TV, we should look for one that's Apple TV internal. Right now, like we have Hulu and other things built into our TV. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
just keep in mind that if they're being honest about it, Xfinity is about to add Apple TV to their device in the middle of this year. So you should be able to get it right through Xfinity at the middle of this year.
Oh, good, because she'll be in a new movie starting in July, so that'll be good. Okay, thank you.
You'll have to let me know which movie so I can watch it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
About the what?
Okay, I'll move on. So this really is typically specific for those that want to cut the cable, as we talked in the beginning. So there are a number of streaming services that not only allow you to watch movies and videos and then series, but also carry live TV. So you can get your news, you can get your local channels, and these are the ones that are out there now. Don't know what you're paying for cable service at your second home now, but these services run around $65 per month for them. So, and again, it talks about how many concurrent streams you can have, whether or not it has live TV. All of these that I put on here do. Ad free on demand means that if I do an on demand channel, I want to play a specific movie, can I get it on demand for free? I mean, ad free, sorry, ad free. How many channels they offer, whether or not they have DVR services, and whether or not you can download shows to your device. So as you're thinking about whether or not you want to cut your cord, and if you have to have, or you really want to have, I should say, not have to have, you really want to have live TV, then you have to choose one of these services. The one I will note on is Sling TV. They offer this interesting combination. They have two different services that have different channels associated with them. You can subscribe to one, you can subscribe to two, or you can subscribe to both of them, depending on what channels you want to be able to receive on live TV. So that this really will help you decide if you want to have live TV on your at your second home. Then you got to kind of look at what channels you really want or really have to have. You can look up on their websites which channels that they support and what their costs are, and you can choose the live TV service that best fits your needs. But this primarily are for those that have a second home. Any questions on that one? I'll go through a number of demonstrations here so you can ask some questions then, but any questions about the services with live TV? Okay. All right, so those are the services. Now we'll talk a bit about the devices. You need one of these devices to be able to play any of those services. So we talked a bit about Xfinity's X1 and what they support. There are many smart TVs out there that allow you to have streaming services. They have quote unquote apps on them. And those apps vary by the manufacturer. So if you have a smart TV today, you should be able to go to apps of some sort. They're all a little bit different as to how you display those apps. But they will tell you, or you could even look them up online, which of the streaming services they support. Some support a lot of them, some support only a few. It really depends on the smart TV that you have. Again, you could have a smart TV here in Pelican Sound, unless you're specifically talking about Apple TV. You likely don't need it because your Xfinity box has the option to stream all of those services with the exception of Apple TV. Now, if there's some other service that I haven't really talked about, some smaller service that you would like, and Xfinity doesn't have that one, then you may have to revert to using your smart TV to be able to watch it here. Third option is on your smartphones. Carry them anywhere, but you should be able to watch just about any service. They all provide apps for your phone. You have to download it from your Play Store, your Apple Store, whatever if you have an Android, then it's the Google Play. But you download the app for that specific service, and you can play whatever their content is by signing into your account. You can play whatever the content is on your phone. Similarly for tablets, they're available for iPads, Amazon Fires, Samsung tablets, they all have apps for each of those services that we talked about, and you can play them on any of your devices that you have. Obviously on PCs, it's very common, both Mac and Windows are available. And then the last one, I'll talk about a little bit more, are called adapters. So we talked a bit about Apple TV not being available on Xfinity. Well, there's a device that you can buy from Apple that plugs into your TV that allows you to play the Apple TV service on your TV. It's a little dongle. I think most people call them dongles. It plugs into the HDMI port on your TV. You change the input on your TV and you can watch all the Apple products. But the ones there's Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV. Those are the adapters that allow you to basically convert a non-smart TV into a smart TV. But you need one of those devices to be able to play the services. I'll go through each one a little bit and what the advantages and disadvantages are. X1, personally, that's what I use for almost everything except Apple TV, obviously. You already have it. You can stream content from just about everything by just clicking on your Xfinity button on your remote and going to apps. Alternatively, you can use the voice search and just say Disney Plus or say Hulu, and it'll take you right there. One of the nice things about it is if you subscribe to a number of different services, which I'm sure a lot of people do, like if you have both Netflix and Amazon Prime, if you search for a movie and it's available on both of them, it'll give you the option of which one you want to watch it on. It'll say, well, it's available on Netflix, but that's $3.99, or it's available on Amazon Prime, but that's $2.99, or it's free. But it'll give you a list of each of the services that's currently carrying that movie or that series, and let you choose which one you want to watch it on. It's one of the kind of unique things that they provide. And as I said, voice search works across all of these. The only disadvantage you have with that is it's obviously you can't carry that box with you, so it's only usable at your home here in Pelican Sound. I talked about smart TV. Almost all the new TVs are smart. They can stream most of the services, but it really depends on the manufacturer. The picture here is one of the Samsung ones where you can see it has Hulu and Netflix and YouTube as apps on their smart TV, and you can play any of those streaming services on their TV. Again, can't pick up the TV off the wall and take it with you, so that's one of the disadvantages. It's not portable. Smartphones and tablets. Big advantage there is you can watch it anywhere, right? Anywhere you go, you can take it, assuming you've got a data plan. Now, I do have to make one little warning here on smartphones and tablets. If you are using cellular, you're out and about, not on Wi-Fi, and you're using cellular data, streaming videos takes a lot of data. So if you are not on an unlimited plan, I don't recommend you watching movies unless your device is connected to Wi-Fi. It will quite quickly consume all the data you have on your plan and start charging you extra for additional data. Just be careful on that. But you can download. That's the other option, is you download the video you want to watch from Netflix or Amazon Prime or wherever you want to download it from. Take it with you, and then you can watch it wherever you want, and it won't use the cellular data. It won't use up all your cellular data. Available for all the Androids and iOS. Really all the service providers have an app for your phone, either Android or iOS. Screen size, depending on what device you're using, can be an issue, but depending on your eyesight, like me, you can hold it very close to your face. It looks big, but some of us can't do that. So the screen size is somewhat of a disadvantage. One thing and I'll talk about this a bit in a few minutes here. There is a thing called screen mirroring, and I'm actually going to use that in a few minutes to show you a demo on my phone. But you can mirror your screen to a TV. If any of you have done that, that is an option on both devices, whether you're an Android or iOS. Some of these services, mainly it's Xfinity, don't allow you to screen mirror onto a TV. So let me give you the example here. If I took my phone and I was at my northern home where I don't have cable, and I pulled up the Xfinity streaming service on my phone, and I would try to then screen mirror that to my TV, it would not let me. So you got to be a bit careful about looking up what the restrictions are on some of these services when you start talking about screen mirroring. And I'll demonstrate screen mirroring in a minute here, if you're not familiar with it. Computers available anywhere. I mean, you can, all the service providers have a website. You do it through your browser, and every service out there can be played on your PC. You can watch movies and videos from any service on a PC, be it a Mac or a Windows-based machine. And finally, I talked about adapters. Here's some pictures of examples: the Roku, the Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV Stick. If you don't have the capability to be able to watch it, say at a second home, you don't have a smart TV, you don't have cable, but yet you want to play Netflix or some of these other services, you can buy one of these adapters. They plug into your TV and effectively turn it into a smart TV, so you can play any of these services on that TV. Bob Schuster, go ahead. You had a question.
Okay, this is Diane. I use my husband's.
Okay, no problem.
I use my husband's computer. But I have tried, I don't know if you can help me, but I've tried to do the Chromecast, and I can hear, the audio, but can't get the video. And I wondered if there's something you're supposed to do or something special in order to be able to do the Chromecast.
No, there shouldn't be. I tell you what, if you could, let's take that a bit offline. If you wait till the end, or if you didn't write it down at the beginning, wait till the end and send me an email on that topic, and
Okay.
I can try to help you with it.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So I've gone through all the devices that you can use to play streaming services. Let's stop for a second and see if there are any other questions about kind of the devices you can use. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I got one from Marilyn. Go ahead.
Yeah. You may be covering this later, but one of the things that I would like to be able to learn how to do is, if I want to watch something that is being on another channel that does not come to Xfinity. For instance, I'm from the West Coast. If I want to watch the University of Oregon football, I have to go to the Pac-12 TV.
Right.
I'd like to be able to watch those games, but I don't know how to do that. Are you going to show us how to do that?
Well, it gets a little complicated with sporting events, but we can talk about it a bit because of the restrictions that sometimes the sporting events will put on where it'll be location specific. I mean, the best example I can give you is when they black out sporting events in the area where it's being played, right? That's a fairly common one. They will often put restrictions on the location that you can watch on. Sorry, Ben, I did get your note, just so you know. So that can be a bit complicated. Now, you should always be able to watch it like on a PC. The complicated part is going to be watch it on a TV or on you should be able to always watch it on your phone. I'm going to go through an example of where you can watch specific TV channels. So don't know if the example will apply to the station that's carrying the game that you want, but you can typically stream a specific TV channel. So like channel 2 in Oregon, whatever. But I'll go through an example like that and maybe that'll help. Okay. Great. Ben, go ahead if you have a question on DVR. I saw your Q&A on there.
We've had a problem lately, and I think it's during football season. Anina has set a time to record something, and that maybe the network gets shifted, time shifted.
Yeah.
But Comcast seemed to recognize that, so we don't get the full, we get the end of one program and the beginning of the next program. Are we doing something wrong, or is that?
No, that's a fairly common problem that when you say record a certain show, and if that show doesn't air, what it's doing really in the background is it's setting a time, and generally it starts on time, but then it'll often extend at the end for 5 minutes or so in case it runs over, but it doesn't shift time when something runs late. So like your example, a common one that I know I have is 60 Minutes, right? They follow the football game on Sundays, and sometimes the football game runs late. I will miss the first part of 60 Minutes because the football game ran late, and there really isn't too much you can do about that, unfortunately.
Can we ask them to figure it out?
Say it again, Anina, I couldn't hear you.
Next time we talk, can they figure it out?
Can that be part of our new subscription?
I still, okay. I couldn't hear Anina in the background there, Ben. So if there was something you needed, let me know.
She just mentioned that the next time we talk to Comcast, we should try to tell them to fix their system.
Yeah. We got our contracts coming up in a couple of years, so we can put that on the list.
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so now we're going to talk about what options you have, how you put these combinations together of services and devices, and try to put something together that is kind of what you want from a streaming capability. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, I keep referring back to Xfinity because it has such a diverse amount of capability that let's talk about Xfinity with a phone or a PC or a tablet. So you might not know this. I think quite a few people do not, but there is an app for your phone or tablet, be it iOS or Android, and the app is called Xfinity Stream. I apologize if there's background noise. They just started mowing my lawn outside. Apologies for that. So on a phone or a tablet, you can download an app called Xfinity Stream. If you're using a PC, all you do is you go to xfinity.com/stream. What you'll do then is you'll put in your Xfinity ID and password, and you'll be able to play any of the content that you have on Xfinity. You can play live TV, you can play your DVR, you can pretty much do anything you can do with your remote control. Kind of the only exception might be the voice remote, but you can do just about anything that you can do on your Xfinity at home, on your TV, on any device that you have, be it a PC or tablet or a phone. all of it. It also allows you to download any on-demand show. So you can look up a show that played in the past that maybe you missed. You can download it to your phone or your tablet, take it on the road with you. Also can download anything you recorded. So if you have recorded something on your DVR, you can download that as well to your phone or tablet. And other than your phone or tablet or PC, there is no cost to it. It's part of our deal with Xfinity. The only disadvantages, and this is what I talked about a little while ago, is they don't allow you to use screen mirroring. So I can't pull up a show on my phone and then mirror it to a TV so that it displays my TV outside of my Pelican Sound home. I can do that within my home in Pelican Sound, just can't do it anywhere else. Unfortunately, here's one I should have probably updated. Just tested it yesterday. It used to be you couldn't add to or change your DVR schedule. I was in preparation for this. I was playing with it a bit yesterday, and it now looks like you can. I didn't actually get a chance to test it, so I didn't change this bullet point here yet. But I believe if what I was seeing was correct, I think they've now made it so you can change your DVR schedule or add to it. The other disadvantage is if you're at a northern home and you are watching, or even out of town, the shows that you're going to watch, like the news, for example, is going to be Fort Myers. Obviously, you're basically watching the content that you have the right to watch here in Pelican Sound. Now, a little asterisk on the no screen mirroring to your Pelican Sound. This again goes back to people who want to cut the cable. One option you do have is if you have a PC or some other device, some tablets have them too, but if it has what's called an HDMI output, so that's the same input as what you have from your Xfinity box, you could plug that in from your PC to your TV. And then you could watch really any show here. You got to use your PC or your tablet to control it, but you could watch any show that you have here. You could watch your DVR on another TV outside of Pelican Sound, but it has to be directly connected with a cable. It kind of bypasses this preventing you from screen mirroring. It bypasses that restriction. Okay. So let me do a little demonstration. I'll do it both on a PC, on the PC here and on the iPhone. Let me go to here. And I gotta hide this thing. How do I hide it? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm gonna go to Xfinity.com. All right, and it already signs me in. I've got I've signed in not long ago, so I'm already signed in here. But you may have to sign in on your own if you're not already signed in. Now you'll see down here all these shows. Watch TV online. Well, you can scroll through some of those if you want. I prefer. There's a little button up here at the top. It looks like a TV screen, and you'll see when I hold my cursor over it. It might be small for you. I apologize, but it says Xfinity Stream. I'll click on that. Take a second to come up, but once it does, it's pretty quick. Well, hopefully. Yep, here it comes. Okay, now I'm in the Xfinity Stream service. So then if I go to live TV, should be familiar, and I say my favorite channels, or I could say all channels. This probably looks pretty familiar to you. It's exactly the same as what you see using your remote. So right now, 2 o'clock, I can watch any of these shows. Scrolling down, let's just say I want to watch Fixer to Fabulous. I can click on that. Now I can start it from the beginning. I can watch it, and then see now it says record. It didn't used to say that, so that's how I changed I noticed that it changed the capability so I can now record, and all I got to do is say watch. Now you're watching live TV on your PC. Okay, that's how you do it on a PC. Now let me switch over quickly. I know most people have iPhones, so let me show you on what it looks like on an iPhone. Okay, what you see here is my phone. Let me get rid of this background stuff here. Make it easier to see. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. There we go. Okay, hit this down. I have a little thing set up here as all my entertainment things. There's lots of them. You'll see some of these other ones, Peacock, HBO Max, they're all here. But one of them is called Xfinity Stream. You'll see it at the top middle. So I'll click on that. And then I'll say live TV. Guess what? It looks exactly the same. I see all the shows I can watch. I can scroll down to golf today, golf channel, click on that, say watch. Oh, there we go. So, and sometimes I mentioned before, depending, especially for sports, sometimes they won't let you watch those shows on, except for the device that you're designed to be on. So let me pick a different. We just watched HGTV. I'm not sure why it normally works. It might be because I've got the screen mirroring on. I'm assuming, but if it were, you'd be able to watch that show. You can restart it from the beginning. You can record it just like you can on your TV. And I believe it's because I've got the screen mirroring on that it's not letting me do that. So the TV the phone works just like your TV. Works just like your PC. All right, let's get rid of that. Go back to presentation. Let me move on to the next one. And what we're going to talk about next is the next option we're going to talk about is what I refer to as direct access to providers. And this may answer the question about watching a show from another region. So the requirements for this option is that you've got to have a device and you must download each provider's app. And you can use your Xfinity account to sign in. I think it'll become more clear when I do the demonstration. But you basically, almost every local station now streams live. Not all of them, but almost all of them. So you can look up on your Play Store for the specific channel and location that you're looking for, download their app, and you can play that on your device. Some of those provide live TV, some of those don't. Most of them provide live now. There's no cost to it other than the device, the TV or the adapter or your phone. And those live channels can be near where you are. So if I specifically ask for NBC in Rochester, New York, making up a location, then when I play their app, I'm going to see their local news, their local channel. Okay. There are a few networks that are not available, but they charge for a fee. There's very few. CBS, as an example, doesn't allow you to watch the CBS direct feed unless you pay for it. They have the CBS streaming service. There's a charge to watch that, but most of them are free. They'll almost all have on demand. Not all have the live TV option. And each network, each station will be a separate app. So you really don't get it like on the Xfinity one. I had a nice little guide that I could select what I wanted to watch. You're not going to get that from this option. You got to go to, if I want to watch CBS, you got to go to CBS. If you want to go watch NBC, you got to go to NBC or Peacock, it's called. So there's not like any guide that I can go to if you're just doing this direct access option. Okay, hopefully this will play. I think it will. Let me try the iPhone first, since I already have it up here. And I gotta go here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so I showed you before, I've got all my entertainment apps in one place. Let's say, so I have a summer home in New Hampshire. My local station there is the one in the middle called WMUR. I've downloaded their app onto my phone. So if I click on their app, I get a bunch of different shows that I can watch. It gives me the weather, bunch of things there. And but you'll see this one, I wanted to point out, there is no option. I'm going through all the different menu items. There is no live TV option. They don't provide that. As I mentioned, some of them do, some of them don't. So let me go back. And instead of showing you that one, I'm going to go to NBC2. That's the local NBC station here. And I don't want to do that. So you'll see there's a number of different news things I can watch on NBC2. And if I go to here, you see the menu item in theirs. There's one called live video. So if I click live video, it actually gives me the live stream of what's playing on NBC2 right now. Okay, so that's the live broadcast. If it would, there we go. So this kind of may answer, and I can go to full, there's a way to go to full screen here. But this may answer the question that was asked about how do I play the a certain sports event in another location. So if you can figure out what local station is carrying that sporting event, download their app. You should be able to watch it on your phone or your PC or your. Okay, so that's on the iPhone and the PC. I'll skip the PC one here. We're running a few minutes behind schedule, but it's essentially the same thing. I go to a website in the NBC2 example. I think theirs is called NBC-2 if I remember right, but they all have a website you can go to and you can play that local channel on your PC as well. Okay. Let me just check and make sure. Nope, no questions at the moment. So let me move on. So here's another option, I'll call them, and that's a third-party streaming service with no live TV. So when I say third-party, I mean Netflix, I mean Hulu, I mean Amazon Prime. All of those are what I would call third-party streaming services. All you need is a streaming device and a subscription to the third party, to that third party service. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you automatically have Prime Video. Netflix, recent announcement, Netflix just raised their price. So if you're on Netflix, you're going to get charged a little more now. Hulu, all of those, as long as you have a subscription to that service, you download their app and you can play all of their content. Wide range of on demand, and these really are mostly on demand. There's no TV, no live TV involved in these yet. I cover that in the next example. Great search capability. They do allow, most of them do allow downloading, but there generally is a cost. Like you have to either be a Prime member, so you got to pay for Prime, or you got to pay the charge for Netflix, Hulu, etc. So let's just demonstrate Netflix. I've got that. Okay. All I need to do is go to netflix.com. I'm already signed in. If I wasn't signed in, it would have asked me my user ID and password. So I can go to Netflix and I can play any show that they offer right here on my PC. Okay. Same is true on my phone. If I want to watch Netflix on my phone, you'll see I have Netflix is a app on my phone. I click on Netflix. I say it's me. And I can watch any movie, watch any show that's available on Netflix. Quite simple. All right. So then the final one, and this one, as I mentioned at the beginning, is primarily for those that are thinking about cutting the cable at a second home. This is a third-party streaming service with live TV, and I'll show one of those. So I utilize one of those at my second home. So again, any streaming device will work. All you need is the third-party app, be it Hulu TV, YouTube TV. I showed you the list of the primary ones a little while ago. Advantages here, broad range of content that you want to receive. There is a guide. Almost they all have some form of a guide. The live TV usually includes local channels. So even though if I'm streaming in New Hampshire, where my summer home is, I get New Hampshire local channels. If I stream from Chicago, if I'm visiting somebody in Chicago, I'll get local Chicago stations. So it adjusts to your location and gives you the local channels in that location. Most of them do allow downloading and or have a DVR. The disadvantage here is there is a fair cost to this, but generally speaking, I don't know what you're paying today for cable in your second home, but from what I've seen, it's probably in the range of at least $100 for a good variety of channels. Most of these streaming services with live TV are quite a bit cheaper than that, usually around $65. So there could be a savings of $40, $50 a month, if depending on what you're currently paying for your cable service there. Now you still need to get, obviously you still need to get internet service at your second home. If you're doing this, so you got to pay for that. And then on top of that, you pay for the streaming service. So as I said, I have a second home. I use something called YouTube TV. Let me demonstrate that one. So I just need to go to tv.youtube.com. If I wasn't already signed in, it would have asked me to sign in. So here, in the way YouTube TV works, I can look at live TV, and it gives me a list of channels, just like very similar to what you see on your cable here in Pelican Sound. So the stations are over here to the left, all the different shows that are available are here. If I want to watch CNN, I click CNN. And it starts playing. So I can watch really any station. There's a lot of them. Let me close that up. There we go. They also have, hang on, let me stop it. I got to pause that one. So then I also have what's called library. What that is basically my DVR. So shows that I've recorded, and it works a little differently than it does here. It's not like I record a specific show. Once I say, for example, ABC World News Tonight is in my library, then it records all occurrences of that that there is, and it continues to record them until I say stop. I don't have to say delete them. I don't have to, it just allows me to play them back at any time. This is how YouTube TV happens to work, not necessarily all of them, but it works very much the same as my remote does here in Pelican Sound. I can play this on my TV. So for example, my Samsung TV up there has a YouTube TV app. I open that and it works just like this. So I watch live TV, I watch DVR, I can DVR shows, very, very similar to the way my service works here at Pelican Sound. So for those of you who are thinking of cutting cable, this is an option. It is the one you will have to choose if you want live TV. There are a few different ones to choose from per the table I showed you earlier, but that's your option there. Okay, let me go back, and we are at the end. So let me open it up to any questions that anyone may have here before we end. Okay, Janet, I think it's you. You have to click the unmute button. Janet K, there you go.
Do you get local news with YouTube TV?
Yes. The way, and it's not just YouTube TV, all the ones that I listed in the table under those with live TV, you get news from wherever you're located at. So like if I were to watch it on my phone and watch YouTube TV, it first looks up the location that my phone is in. So it uses the GPS on my phone to figure out where I am and provides me the local channels there wherever I happen to be.
And I have a second comment.
Yep.
I have always streamed the Pelican Sound local news just on a rotating one day only. And I found it very useful during hurricane season just to find out what's going on.
Sure. Yep.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that NBC2 is the one I use. That's the same idea. And I have the WMUR one for up in New Hampshire that I watch. So yep, I do the same thing. Okay, well, thank you. Good question. All right, who we have here? I know it's not Robert. I can't remember who it was, but
Diane.
yeah, Diane. Sorry, Diane.
Yeah,
it
that's
shows
okay.
the Robert on my screen.
Yeah, I know. We use his computer.
No problem.
I was, you were talking about downloading things to your phone or tablet or whatever if you don't want to use data. But like for Netflix, I mean, how do you actually download it onto your tablet or your phone? I mean, I've never seen that option, or I don't know how to do it.
Let me see if I can show that. I think I can.
That'd be great.
Let's see here. I got to go back here, and then I got to turn the mirroring back on. It'll come up in just a second. And they all, whether you're talking about Netflix or you're talking about Amazon Prime or really any of these, it's pretty much the same. I mean, it might be slightly different. So let me get Netflix open. And if on this one anyway, you can see it right here.
Oh.
If I wanted to download this show, instead of playing it, I click the download button.
Oh, okay.
On my phone. Also, if I were to go back to home, let's see here. Oh, there it is. There's also, if you look at the very bottom right-hand corner here, there's one called, it says downloads. So what that's going to show me is any that I've already downloaded and allow me to play them. And then it will also let me see what I can. Remember I said in Netflix, they kind of limit what you can download and what you can't. So this button here is to give you, basically show you all the things that you could download. And Netflix even has, this is kind of unique to Netflix, they have something called smart downloads, which basically you can say, I watch a series, maybe there's a series that you watch. Well, every time a new episode of that series comes on, it will automatically download to your phone.
Wow. Cool. And then other, like Hulu does that. I mean, other apps will do that.
Yes. So like I have Amazon Prime, it's the same way. Prime Video. You show that one. And it would work the same way with, so if you look at the bottom down here, you'll see downloads. If I were to open the show, oops. It'll say, you see where it says download season 1?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it
wow,
would let
yeah.
me download to my phone. And
Oh,
then I would go to
great.
downloads at the bottom. It would show the ones, I don't have any downloaded right now, but if I had some, then this is how I would play them.
Great. And then can you, after, if you want to then remove them from your
So
phone, say if you
once they're
watched it.
downloaded, once you
Mhm.
have one that's downloaded, if you click on it, it will give you the option to delete it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Mhm.
Be good for flying.
Yes, that's what I use
Yeah.
it for.
Oh,
Okay. All right, and thank you. All right, again, I know it's not Maryland, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Mr.
this is
Bogard.
Ron.
Yeah.
This may classify as one of the dumb questions. How do you mirror your tablet to the TV
Okay.
or your phone?
Yep. So it depends on your TV a little bit, but most of the newer TVs all support mirroring. So let me go here. I'm on my phone. I'm going to go to Netflix. You see up here in the upper right-hand corner, this little TV with bars
Yes,
on it?
I do.
That's mirroring. So I want to say, so there's, hang on, let me back up. There are two ways to do this. Most of these apps like Netflix, like Amazon Prime, most all of them allow you to do screen sharing. So if I click on this, what it's going to do is it's going to transfer that what I'm playing back on that app to my TV.
How
Right?
does it know where your TV is?
I'll show you right here. So what it does is it says Netflix would like to find and connect devices on your local network. If I say okay, it searches my network and says, are there any devices that I can play to? And I'm sure it found, so I'm going to click on it again. And right now my TV's turned off. But if my TV here were turned on, it would show in a list here. And I could just click on it and it would switch it to my TV. Again, it's going to depend on your TV. If it supports this, it will do it. Most of the newer ones will. As long as it's Wi-Fi connected, it will typically switch over. I'd have to go turn my TV on to actually show you how that works. But
Okay.
it would appear on a list here and say, I would say Samsung, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it would allow me to click on it and it would switch that, whatever that was, over to my TV.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
Thank
I
you.
said there was two. I said there was two options.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little bit different on an Android, but on an iPhone, oh, shoot, sorry. I got to restart click the wrong thing. Hang on 1 second, let me get my screen mirroring up for so essentially this is what I'm doing right now. So if your TV supports what's called iOS screen mirroring, so if I have an iPhone, you can see the little Apple thing on it. Let me back up. Let me now that I've got it on, let me show you what it. So this is my main screen. So if I know like 90% of the people here have iPhones. So I'm going to use an example. If I flip up from the bottom, just swipe up from the bottom of my phone, and depending on your phone, I know it's a little different, but everybody should have this screen right here. You'll see this little button right here with the two screens on it. If I
Yes.
click on that, it should give me a list, and this Let's View is what's running on my PC. So that's what's allowing me to show you my phone on this PC that's now being presented to you. So it's a little a little complicated, but let you know. But it would show up on here. So if my Samsung TV were turned on, I would see Samsung XYZ as one of the items in this list, right? And I could click on it and it would do the same thing. It would send that, it would make this appear on my TV. Now there's a big difference between the two. All that's going to do is show you exactly what I'm showing everybody here. This little picture of what's displaying on my phone, right? I can show you anything on here. That's different than what I did when I was in an app. So if I was in an app like Netflix, which is where it was before, it's actually going to transfer that whole Netflix presentation over to my phone, or over to my TV. I'm sorry, over from my phone to the TV. It's not going to display as this little box that's showing you what's on my phone. It's going to take up the whole screen of the TV, and it's going to show the Netflix movie, right? So there is
Okay.
a bit of a difference between those two options, but you have both options.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, Norm Steffen? You click the little unmute button, you should be able to talk. No? No, can I, no, it doesn't look like I can.
How about now?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, there it is. Okay, I had to shift.
Perfect.
Anything. By any chance, is this presentation going to be archived someplace so we could look at it again later?
Yes, if you didn't hear at the beginning, this is being recorded, and you'll be able to play it on YouTube on the playlist, the Pelican Sound playlist on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So go to YouTube and find it.
Yep, that comes out maybe at the end. What we'll do if she's still available, I'm not sure if she's still on or not. But,
Yes, I'm here. Yes,
okay.
yeah, we will. This has been recording, so I'll upload it to YouTube. And this is one of my first virtual, so I'm not sure how in the past we've gotten it out to everyone. But I'll go ahead and ask Travis, and I will make sure that everybody has access to rewatch this video.
Yeah.
And I know if you open YouTube, I've got a little extra time here before 3 o'clock. What I've done on YouTube, let's go to youtube.com. Man, come on. So I'm signed in. I've subscribed to a bunch of different things. One of them is Pelican Sound Golf and River Club. And so there are a bunch of playlists. So I'll click on playlists here under Pelican Sound. And you can find all the recorded, is it a channel? Is that what it is, Jordan? No, I thought it was a playlist.
Yeah, the sound learning session.
Oh, here it is, sound learning
Yeah.
sessions. I missed it. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a playlist for all of these. So you can see there are quite a few, including my next presentation, that have already been recorded and are already available on YouTube.
Yeah, this is kind of like trying to take a sip out of a fire hose, and it's.
Yeah, I understand.
I
That's
think
why
we'll be
I
able to go back to
also,
this.
yeah, and Norm, send me a email. I'll put my email address up again in a minute here. But if you send me the email, I'll send you the whole presentation, and you can use that as well.
Okay,
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
that was a question from Mr. Roberts, Roger Roberts. He
Oh, I
had
see
asked
some
if you
chats I
could
didn't-
share the PowerPoint.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so let me go back to this and let me get rid of this. So there it is. Please, and I don't know, I guess that's you, Jackie, that's here. Just a second, if you can hold on, I'll get to your question. But this is the email address that you can send to, and I will send you the whole presentation so you can, use it over and over as you need.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. And I guess, is it Jackie? Are you on? Make sure you unmute. Jackie Sherman?
Yeah, it's me.
Yep.
Okay, there's two things. One, I can't swipe up to see how, my phone doesn't let me swipe up. It lets me swipe down. I see all notifications. I can wait sideways, but I can't swipe up to see those. And I know that's there because I've done it before, but I don't know why it doesn't let you swipe up. Is there a
Okay.
reason? I'm doing something wrong.
What
Okay,
kind of sorry.
It's an iPhone.
Okay. And do you know what, is it
It's
an
11.
11? So you might want to, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Rhodes, is it like the top right corner you swipe down?
It is. No, it's top right corner. Thank you. So I
Yeah.
got that.
That's why I say it
'cause I've
depends
been
on the
trying to
phone.
swipe up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my phone,
now-
mine's an 8, so mine you swipe up from the bottom. They
Oh,
changed
yeah,
it
mine's-
somewhere, if it's a
Mhm.
10 or 11, somewhere along the line, they changed it.
Yeah.
So it's the upper right-hand corner down. Yep.
Okay,
Goes-
so now I
goes
got
this way.
that. So I can see where screen mirroring is. However, when my grandchildren were here, and I don't know how they did this, they were on their apps on their iPad. And all of a sudden, they projected it onto my telephone, onto my television.
So the
How do you
iPads are
do
exactly
that?
the same. It's exactly the same. Now, again, depending on the iPad, you may have to swipe up from the bottom, or you might have to swipe diagonally. You'd have to know what it is, but you should be able to get to the same screen.
Okay, if how do I, so I got it. So it's just rotating, screen mirroring. And then I should be able to put what's on my phone onto my television.
Right.
Okay,
Yep. Assuming your television supports it. That's the key question.
yeah, whether
It must,
Infinity
it must
lets
if
me.
if your grandkids did it already, it must. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if Infinity lets me do it, yes, sometimes they don't let me do it, which,
Yeah.
but I understand that. So that's how you do it. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you
Yep.
so much.
I am going to hop on really quick just because I see that we're losing some people.
Yeah. Go
So
ahead.
I want to be able to do the poll. So I'm going to pull that up really quickly. That way everyone can go ahead, who's still here can go ahead and take that poll for me if you don't mind.
While they're doing that, Jordan, can you see if you can get Patricia to go ahead and Patricia Yoakum's looks like got her hand raised. I can't do it anymore because you took it away.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm leaving.
I have an iPhone mini, and I can't find the icon for mirroring. Do you know
Okay,
where it might be?
It should, again, that varies a bit and they may have to go on the internet, but typically the way it is on my phone here, you just take your finger at the very bottom of the screen and swipe up.
Yeah, I've done that. I've
And-
gone.
And does it look like, hold on, let me put mine back on. Oh, I'm not presenting anymore, am I?
No, sorry.
Never mind. There's a little icon that should show two little screens.
Right, that's what I'm looking for, and I have, there is none.
Okay. So my suggestion would be if you go on a PC or something and search on whatever model iPhone you have, just
Okay.
put that model number in and then put screen mirroring. There's somebody's got directions out there that'll
Okay, thanks.
solve that. Mhm. I don't know if you noticed this one, the Q&A, Jordan, Bob Schuster said the poll was not able to be submitted.
I'm not sure what it looks like on the attendees side. But
Well, I mean, I can see it. Can you
yeah.
delete mine? Oh, I can't. No, I can't vote because it says host and panelists cannot vote. Never mind.
I would think at the bottom right of the poll pop-up, there's a submit option. I don't know.
You might want to unmute Mr. Schuster and see what he says.
Yeah, if it's not working for you, then I would just, I
Yeah,
guess,
I
just
pre-
leave it as is.
Yeah, I pressed submit a number of times and it just wouldn't submit. It looks like it doesn't, it doesn't ever light up. So,
Well, thank you for trying. I don't know, maybe it's
Okay.
just glitching. Because yeah, I think everybody else, but yeah, maybe it's just
okay.
something's going on your end. It's okay. But thank you.
All right. All right. Thanks.
Well, I believe everybody has submitted that can. Thank you so much, Mr. Rhodes. That was an awesome class. I don't know if there's any other questions, but we do have another class coming up in the next
3 minutes. Yep.
20 minutes or so. I saw some of you are attending that one as well, so maybe we'll see some of you again.
Oh, I like that one.
Sorry.
So I wasn't supposed to see that, was I, Jordan?
Sorry. As long as it was good things. Well, thank you so much. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add, Mr. Rhodes, but I'm going to end this webinar. Thank you again for attending. We have a few more classes, so I hope to see you all there.
Yep, I'm good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending.
Bye.